fault. Alright, so I went to the mechanics, around a couple of mechanics, and I got a quote for this job, and they quoted me 180 quid. What the fuck? Robbing bastard. As you can see, I've got the vehicle jack ready to jack this car up, and I've also loosened off my bolts. So all I need to do is bring the car up, then take the wheel off. For you simple folk out there, that's to loosen, right? That's to tighten. Don't get it mixed up. Alright, I got my 17mm on my breaker bar, ready to loosen it off. And I've got my 17mm on my little ratchet, ready to take the bolts off once it's hoisted up. Pow! And the wheel is gone. Alright guys, I'm going to head into the front seat now and turn my wheel to the right so then I can get to all the working parts that I need to. Obviously my keys in the ignition to allow me to turn the wheel still. Yeah. Alright guys, you need to take these caps off in order to get to the screws to unscrew the calipers in order to get it off. Sometimes it can be a bit hard, sometimes you have to get a Philly screwdriver to try and get it off, but I got it off by my hands. But just do whatever works for you. Alright, here's my number 7 Allen key bit. It just goes in. Obviously make sure you have it on the right setting to loosen and take that fucker off. Alright guys, what I'm pointing at now is the screw that needs to be totally unscrewed. Make sure you do totally unscrew it, just so then it's easier to take the caliper off obviously and you don't damage the caliper. It is important. As you can see, I have totally unscrewed it. You can actually pull on it. If you pull on it aside as you're unscrewing, it pulls it out as well. Now all it is it's just doing exactly the same on the bottom one. Okay, just exactly the same. Right, that's what you unscrew, and in there it's hard to see, but that's where you got to make sure that it's clear from. In there, that the screw's totally out. You'll see in there it's been cleared before you take it out. Alright guys, what I'm doing now, I'm just getting any tool that'll just fit in to help push that screw out a little bit because it feels like it's unscrewed, just not, it needs that little nudge to get out. Right guys, I've got a screwdriver and I'm just pulling this out, and just be careful in that I'm not going to damage it, just pulling it gently and it should easily come out. Just be careful what you're doing. Now I'm pulling it with my one hand, which is quite hard, um, as you can see, so I'll have to use two hands. Alright, so I got that off. That's one of my brake pads, which comes off there. Normally, I have to use a G-clamp to push it in, so then it creates less space because it's like a piston. As it goes forward, it moves, it gets smaller, so it grips on it. So if you push that back, it'll create more space to take that out. But it's up to you guys. My one just came out straight away then, so it was no bother. I didn't have to use a G-clamp. But with these, I'm just going to hammer in these two bits. Just give it a gentle persuasion to get out, and then they'll be out. As you can see, both of them out. There's both my brake pads. Now we're going on the disc brakes. This is a star screw, which is just there, and we're just going to be taking that out, and then it'll come out easy peasy. It's a T30 star. What I'm going to do, I'm going to line it up, get a hammer, and just quickly, gently give it a gentle hammer like that. Then get my ratchet and ratchet it out. Obviously, I've just ratcheted it out, came out easy. Here's the screw just here, which came out really easy. Obviously, if you add your new one, you just put it back on. But that's all it was, just ratcheted it out. It was a piece of piss, man. Easy. Easy peasy. If you want, you can give it a clean. I don't have a wire brush or spray to clean it. But to put it back on, all I done is screwed in a bolt, and then just to hold it in position, then got my ratchet and with my star screw and screwed it back in. That has to be tight, but it's got to be tight enough. Alright, and then you can obviously take that out, because that was just there to line it up to help you get it in easier. That's what I like. Obviously put copper grease on there, but I've already done it. And also at the bottom as well, just there. It's up to you guys if you want. It's easier, it makes life easier in the future. But yeah, just line up both of the brake pads. Just make sure you got the right ones, because of, oh, for fuck's sake, clumsy fuck. Put that back up. Alright, I'll put that back up. Just all I am just double checking that both are the right ones. Obviously, I know they're the right ones because I've just took them off. But if they were new pads, I'd put on the new, make sure they're the right ones. Also, with my brake pads, they had a little wire connector for the control panel. I just ripped that off because we don't have one of them. It doesn't tell us on our dashboard, but this just slots on there, and the other one just slots in there easy. Go on, watch me do it one-handed. I'm doing this, guys, one-handed. Alright, see if I can do it one-handed. Go on. Yeah, look at that. Alright, when you're putting this in, make sure it's in there, so it's got to be in that part. So I'll take it off so you can see it better. So it's got to be wedged in there. So that part goes first. That part should be at the front. Okay, and then that part you just push in. And obviously you got to obviously make sure you put copper grease on the tops and the bottoms before you've done this. But it's up to you. And now I'm just going to make sure them screw in. Make sure you don't cross-fed them. So pay attention to what you're doing. Don't fuck it up. Alright, just make sure you put it in nice and tight. Obviously these have to be fairly tight because it's your fucking brakes, and if you want your brakes not to work, then don't put them tight. But I tightened that one up, not all the way, and I tightened that one up, not all the way. Just ensure that both of them are in correctly, in the right place. Then what I done is just tighten the both up when I was happy. And then, yeah, just go ahead and put your caps back on, and that's the one. But that is it all done now. All I'm going to be doing is turning the wheel straight, putting the wheel back on, and that's it. That's your disc brakes and pads completely done. Done and dusted. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because I'm going to be putting more videos on if you like it. This is just the tools that I've used. Obviously that's the Star 30, that's the Allen Key 7, what I used. That's the 17mm. Obviously I used the extension on my one. Breaker bar 17mm and the breaker bar. But oh yeah, the G clamp. And some screwdrivers to get the wheel cap off. I used the axle stand to stand my caliper on, and obviously something to hoist it up. Obviously I've just learned off YouTube myself, but it's not that many videos on Seat Ibiza, so I have to look up quite a few stuff to see for my vehicle. But anyway, right, here's my top tips of what I've learned so far. Tip number one: when putting the wheel back on, screw in the bolt, the first one obviously, and turn the wheel so then the bolt's right at the bottom. And it makes it all easier. Well, I find it makes it all easier, but it's up to you. Also, do it by hand. Get the thread by hand so you can feel it, so you don't cross thread it, because you don't want it cross threading and the wheel coming off. And taking the cap off, all you have to do is put 2 small screwdrivers in there, and then once you've got that in there, 2 seconds, I just got to put the camera down for a second. Alright, what I'm doing is I'm just getting the other screwdriver to lodge it in and push it out. Obviously you don't want to prise it open by the sides, because you'll end up scratching it all, which you don't want to do. Also, when it comes to putting it back on, there's a little ridge right there that you gotta like line up. So don't make that mistake. Don't be that person who fucks it up because we can't even see that fucking ridge to get it back on. Alright, if you don't get that back on, you gotta put it in a certain way. Don't be that person. Also, when tightening it up, so you don't tighten, because the breaker bar generates a lot of power, just hold it from the middle of the breaker bar when tightening it up. Otherwise it'll be too tight and you could fuck up the bolts. I don't know, you could do something. As long as it's tight enough, but you don't have to do it. I don't know, do what the fuck you wanna do.